Aman, aman. So situated. All right, beloved. Like always, we want to give honor to the Most High God, the great God that keepeth covenants and mercies for them that love him and observe his commandments. And then to the Son, who is our King, our Prince, our Savior, Apostle, and High Priest of our profession, whom the Father used to reconcile us back to himself. We acknowledge the Son by his name, Yahushai, and then all that's with us, elders, mothers, brothers, sisters, children, even those online, all the partakers of the heavenly calling. We thank God for each and every one of you. And happy Bible class, beloved. And Shalom says, I see you in the chat. Peaceable, yeah, Shalom. All right, beloved, we are going to continue in Tobit. Okay, we're going to continue in Tobit. We're just going to do one chapter, but our precept is a few precepts with it, but we will do chapter 4. All right, Tobit chapter 4, and we're gonna just kind of dive into it. Remember in the last chapter, Tobit, his eye, he was kind of blind. Remember the bird kind of got his eyes, so it messed up his vision. He couldn't get healed, so he's praying to the Most High. And then also we have this young lady. Let me make sure I got her name right. All right, Sarah, the daughter of, or sorry, Sarah, the daughter of Ragul. All right, so we got Sister Sarah, and then Tobit going through it. And what happening with Sarah is she's getting married, right? And then soon as we go into the wedding chamber, right, where they consummate the marriage, the husband will die. All right. And this happened 7 times. All right. 7 times. Let me just go to the last chapter so you can see it in verse 8. Because, and I'm just going to tell you, they actually was, kind of getting on her. Verse 7. It came to pass the same day that in Ecbatan, a city of Media, Sarah, the daughter of Ragul, was also approached by her father's maids. All right, she's approached by her father's maid, and what are they saying? Because that she had been married to 7 husbands, when Asmodeus, the evil spirit had killed before they had lain with her. All right, so they didn't lay with her, but he's killing, this evil spirit is killing them off before they can consummate the marriage. Does thou not know, said they, that thou hast strangled thine husbands? Thou hast had already 7 husbands, neither was thou named after any of them. All right. You're wasting and killing these husbands. All right. Of course, they're blaming her, but it's not her doing it, it's that spirit. All right. But a lot of times we will point the finger, and a lot of times we can point the finger at the wrong person. Okay. Sorry. So we got this evil spirit killing off these husbands. We got one brother, having vision problems. They both crying out to the Lord, and the Lord did hear them. Okay, the Lord did hear them. It's the reason why he is not letting the husbands touch her, is because he actually preserved it. As they looking at it as maybe a curse, the Most High meant it for a good or a blessing. All right, she was reserved for somebody. So even though it's an evil angel, evil spirit doing it, however you want to look at it, in the Most High's eyes, it was still according to his plan. Okay. We are at chapter 4, right? This is Tobit chapter 4. Writing the screen up. All right. In that day, Tobit remembered the money which he had committed to Gabriel in Ragus of Media, and said with himself, I have wished for death. Wherefore do I not call for my son Tobias, that I may signify to him of the money before I die? Okay. You can go back. I think it was in chapter, might have been chapter 1, where you talk about giving that money. I think it was like talent, like 10 talents or something like that. All right. So he referred to that and he said, listen, I wish for death. I was ready to die. That's what he's talking about. I was ready to die. All right. So I didn't call, my son, you know what I mean, even signify, do with the money. All right. However, we're going to keep going. Verse 3. And when he had called him, he said, my son, when I am dead, bury me, and despise not thy mother, but honor her all the days of thy life, and do not that which shall please her, and grieve her not. All right. So he's calling him and giving now his son. Now remember, the whole thing was dealing with Tobit. I'm sorry. And his son name is Tobias. All right. Just so we know. So, and when he had called me, he said, my son, when I am dead, all right, bury me. Right. Once again, don't just leave me out. Remember what he was doing. Remember, people was dying and they was dying in the street. He was out going, getting their bodies and burying them. All right. But he's telling his son, listen, when I died, bury me, and despise not thy mother. Excuse me. So, and despise not thy mother, but what? Honor her all the days of thy life. I don't know the whole context behind, his mother, but he's saying, basically you want to honor them. Even if they're gone and everything, you honor them by what? Doing things that's right, doing things that's pleasing. Okay. So honor her all the days of thy life and do that which shall please her and grieve her not. Okay. So, and I'm not saying she did, but just in general, that's one thing. A question that used to come up, like, honor my mother, and my father. What about my father's wicked? What about my mother's wicked? I can't honor them. So it's like things like that. You can still honor them, right? By you living according to how the scriptures tell you to live. Okay. You bring what? Honor to your house. You bring honor to your name, right? Those kind of things. So don't feel like, well, my parents ain't the truth for this and that, and I can't honor. No, you honor them by being a better example. Okay. All right. If y'all got questions or anything, anybody got scriptures, just put in the chat. Get off mute, however you want to do it. Verse 4. Verse 4. Remember, my son, that she saw many dangers for thee when thou was in her womb. And when she is dead, bury her by me in one grave. Okay. So she is alive, but he's still putting that. He's still making that. We'll say, like, I don't want to say deathbed things, but this is part of putting your house in order, right? So when you go, when somebody dies, it should be a smooth transition. All right. So he's putting things in order, right? When I go there, this is what I want you to do, son. Okay. Hopefully you should hold some weight as a father. So he's letting them know and saying, remember, she had you and she took care of you when you was in her womb, when you couldn't defend for yourself, when you couldn't eat all that stuff for yourself. She was nurturing you. Okay. So remember those things. Same thing today. Sometimes we not, certain ones maybe don't get in the truth and things like that. But don't forget, they can still can show love, even though they weren't truth. Right? Mothers, you still had to carry that child. Right? And we know that wasn't the easiest thing, right? It was a difference they did to your body, right? The children should respect even that journey, that sacrifice and things you did at that time. Okay. And then we are at verse 5. Verse 5. My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all the days, and let not thy will be set to sin, or to transgress his commandments. Do uprightly all thy life long, and follow not the ways of unrighteousness. Look how this father is giving him, these things before he dies. All right. Us that are parents and everything, we want to make sure we instilling these things in our children. Okay. I'm gonna read it again. My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all thy days. Right? Every single day, you need to be mindful of him. You need to be thinking about him. What I'm doing, is it pleasing in his sight? And let not thy will be set to sin. Keep your mind on God, and what? Your will won't be turned to what? Doing things that's not pleasing in his sight. See, when you always got your mind on God, right? That's that, people, oh, that walk in the spirit, something. No, if your mind is always on God, what do you think you're gonna be walking in? You think you're gonna walk in unrighteousness when your mind is on God? You think you're gonna be committing all these sins when your mind is on God? Yeah, he said, keep your mind on. When your mind's consistently on the Most High, you're walking in the Spirit, and your mind can't even what? It can't even set itself to do sin, because what? Your mind's always on God. And this is the same. This is the big mysteries, even in the New Testament, they're bringing out. It's trying to keep keeping our mind on Him. If you can keep it on reading His Word, and even if you can't read, listening to spiritual songs, spiritual hymns, right? Meditating on them, anything, just keeping your mind on it. Listen, it will change your scope of life. You're gonna realize you don't get angry as quick as you used to, right? We gotta get to a point where we're not angry, but getting the frustrated, all those kind of things, it can alleviate when we're what? Staying with that mindset. Okay. All right. Or to transgress his commandments. All right. Don't put your mind on doing some kind of sin, and do not transgress his commandments. Do uprightly all thy life long, and follow not the ways of unrighteousness. All right. Should be kind of simplistic. We should know that. But once again, remember, he's in captivity. He's seen a lot of people go off. And it's real easy to start thinking, you know what? Let me do the same thing. Same thing with us. We try to live this thing. We try to do this. And sometimes you'll look around and you'll be what? You'll get distracted, right? You'll get distracted. You'll look at the wicked and say, dang, they ain't worrying about God, but they got good jobs. They got a big house, nice cars. They look happy. They're like nothing bothering them. And I'm over here struggling, trying to make it, day by day and this and that. And you'll start to think, man, what is it to this that I'm doing? And then what happens is you start to go down that road. It start to get to, is God real? Because is he watching me? Is he not seeing them? Why am I going through this? And it can spin off and be a snowball effect. Right. So this is why I'm saying you have to keep your minds, don't follow them. Okay. Creatures of habit, we like to follow. Even we don't fully understand. We just think it's right because everybody else is doing it. Right. But we have to break away from that kind of thinking. Verse 6. For thou deal truly, thy doing shall prosperously succeed to thee, and to all them that live justly. All right. So deal truly, deal honestly with people, beloved. All right. And when you're doing that, you're going to prosper. All right. And definitely, and to all them that live justly. Okay. So this is things, like I said, we should know. We should know. Live honesty. All right. If you wouldn't want that done to you, don't do it to them. All right. I know it's, treat those how you want to be treated. But like I tell some of the guys at the job, I tell them, treat people better than you want to be treated. All right. Because some people are like, well, I'll yell at myself. So I yell. That's why I say, yeah, treat them better than you want to be treated. Okay. And if you do that, you'll live a pretty good life. Okay. Verse 7. Give alms of thy substance. And when thou givest alms, let not thy eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee. It's very strong, beloved. All right. Something dealing with alms. Okay. So he's saying give alms. All right. Because in the giving, beloved, I'm not diving on into it today, but it's the act, it's saying something that's about the heart when somebody's a giving person. All right. A cheerful giver. Okay. It's the spirit behind it. Right. And this is what the Most High try to show us, even with our substance. People think, oh, God's just trying to take all this. He ain't like he's doing anything with the money. All right. This stuff is for you. Okay. So let me go to a precept just showing a little bit about alms. We'll go to Proverbs 3. Proverbs 3 and 9. Proverbs chapter 3, and we are going to just read verse 9 and 10. Honor Yahweh with thy substance, and with the first fruits of all thine increase. All right. So how is this? Remember this Solomon writing, right? In Proverbs. He's saying, honor Yahweh with what? Thy substance. So yes, you can honor him with things you have. Okay. And with what? The first fruit of all thine increase. Okay. So because people are like, oh, tithes, dealing with first, dealing with fruits, dealing with no, you don't understand the whole thing about giving alms, giving tithes, those things. It's giving substance, something that you got. And really, it's not that you got it, it's understanding the fact that the Most High blessed me with this, and I'm giving it back. Right? Because we think about even the first fruits. First fruits is dealing like the first of the best, right? So when you're harvesting things, the best of your fruits. If you got corn, the best corn, apples, the best of it, right? But you're supposed to realize that what? How do you get that? How do you get that substance? The Most High. The Most High have to bless the land. The Most High have to make the rain come down. You need those things to have a prosperous yield. So he's saying, when you understand that I gave it to you, right? He's just saying, just give me a little fraction of it back. Give me the best back. I gave you all of it. But you understand how simple this is. If somebody gave you, let's start small, gave you $1, right? If you know they gave you $1, it's easy to say, like, gave you $1, can I get 10 cents? Well, you gave me $1, easy to give you 10 cents. If they give you $100, would it be easy to give $10 back? Yeah, you gave me the $100. It's still 90% profit. And so on and so on. Right? But some people getting caught up on, well, the amount and all this stuff, get the spirit. It's about what? Understanding. Lord, I appreciate all that you give me. Here's something in return. Keeping my mindset to understand that I don't get nothing without him. Okay? You need to understand the principle behind these things. Like I said, there's a lot of people that teach it and a lot of people doing things wrong with it. I'm not going into that. All right. But alms, this is what he's talking about. Those alms, because we're going to see some other scriptures with it. But this is what the point behind alms is, the understanding that the Most High is giving me something and I'm showing my appreciation and giving something back. Okay. So that's why you can honor him with your substance, even with the first fruits. And then verse 10, this is the blessing behind it. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and the presses shall burst out with new wine. Right. And some of the heathen churches, they are right with some of the messages with alms and stuff. However, all right, some of them are just wicked and they're just greedy of filthy lucre. And that's why you just can't be around. You can't deal with it. If you think they greedy and they robbing the church and everything, don't support church. You don't need to be in there. Okay? But yes, there are a lot of people that have gotten to the church thing for a business to see how much they can get and rob the people. There are people like that. Okay? This is why I want to teach you and inform you so you know. Okay? But however, the barns being filled with plenty, yes, because what you are saying, when you giving that acknowledgement, God's giving me everything, I'm giving stuff back. Most High is saying, I'm going to bless you more. Okay? Because you are giving me what? You get this in form of praise, form of honor. You're giving me this. I'm giving this back. Since you have that understanding and having that kind of relationship, that's why he's going to bless you more. Okay? All right. It's a short one. That's why I'm dealing with some of these. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 15. Deuteronomy chapter 15. And we're going to jump down to verse 7. Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 7. If therefore be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land which Yahweh thy God giveth thee, thou should not harden thy heart, nor shut thine hand from poor. All right. Let me get the brother Kai, you got to mute yourself just so you know. You're muted. So when you look at that, beloved, okay, I want you to understand why his father, he's saying these things, but it's law and stuff that he's why he's saying it. Okay. So once again, if there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, with any of thy gates in thy land, which Yahweh thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thy hand up from the poor brother. You shouldn't be, oh, well, no, I'm not giving you nothing. He said, don't have that mindset to clench and just don't want to have, give. All right. But he's saying, that's poor man, one of your brothers is poor and everything, they struggle and everything. Don't be so hesitant to be stingy. All right. He said, actually give. Don't harden your heart to them. Open up to them. Okay. Verse 8. But thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shall surely lend him sufficient for his need and that which he wanteth. All right. So once again, you are always commanded. It's always a lot of things in there that's talking about what? The spirit of giving. Okay. And this is just talking about even natural brother. I don't think even tithe and stuff, just with alms, just giving. All right. Charitable things. All right. You should be looking to what? Help others, because that is what love's about. Helping others. Okay. So he's saying, yeah, you see your brother and sister struggling, whatever, and you got, give to them. Okay. Make sure you use your wisdom with it. All right. But we should have a spirit where we just don't want to help. We see somebody in need and we just never want to help. Okay. Let's get one more and then we can go back. All right. Let's go to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. If you want it, this is an apocrypha, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. We can go to chapter 3. We can go to the end of the chapter, right? Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 3, and we're going to jump down, all right, to verse 30. Water will quench a flaming fire. Yes, it will. And alms maketh an atonement for sins. Okay. So I want to, matter of fact, let me go to 29. The heart of the prudent will understand the parable, and an attentive ear is the desire of a wise man, right? So prudent man, wise man will understand the dark saying, okay? And also somebody desire to be wise, they're going to have what? They're going to be ready to listen and hear, okay? A wise man will be ready just to talk. They don't even hear something, they just ready to respond. It's not wise. Wisdom lets you hear, all right? Truly assess and observe the situation. So water will quench a flaming fire. That's why you use this point. Water quench a flaming fire, all right? And he's using that analogy to say what? And alms maketh an atonement for sins. Because sin, if you want to look at it, is almost like a flaming fire, right? And alms, what? Can be a sort of atonement for sins. Now, before people get crazy, because like I said, the church has made a mess with this money thing, right? The point of alms is what? It's about the giving. It's about loving your neighbor as yourself, right? So with that, if you understand what alms is, that will make a what? An atonement, a covering of sins, right? Because love will cover a multitude of sins. Alms is just one fraction or one representation that they're using to show love. So when we're giving alms, that can be atonement for sins. If you want to take it another way, when we had to sin, definitely when the old covenant, we had to what? We need the animal sacrifice, those kind of things. You can offer things to the priest. Those kind of things will also be a sort of what? Atonement for sins. If you do something wrong, you do something, what do? You try to rectify the situation, right? That's all it is, okay? This is not saying you buy your way out of sin. It's when some people get mad, oh, I can't trust certain things. It's like you can buy it. It's not saying you buy your way out of sin. If you're thinking, well, I'm going to give this much money to the church and then this sin is just going to go away and I'm just going to sin and give money, sin, get money. No, you are just helping whoever you're giving that money get more money, but that's not how it works. Okay. Can't manipulate God that way. Verse 31. And he that requiteth good turns, listen what he's saying, requiteth good turns, is mindful of that which may come hereafter. Right? You do things, you be mindful of what? The reward of it. And when he falleth, he shall find a stay, right? He won't truly go in destruction. Okay, so this is why we do good, beloved, because when things happen, situation happens, we will have a safety place to rest. Okay, won't truly fall and all onto destruction, because what we've been putting good things, we've been doing good things, we've been saving up. Really, it's the spiritual treasures, right? So then, when something bad happens, that spiritual treasure can kind of, uproot us and give us strength. Okay, because you were doing good. It's the focus on the good. All right, let's go back. All right, this is verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thy eye be envious. All right, don't let it be, they don't need this, they don't deserve, all right, don't think like that. Don't harden your heart. Neither turn thy face from any poor. Don't despise them. And what? When you do this, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee. So that's why it can save you from sin, because what? The sin is what? It's going to lead you into death. But this is saying when you're doing these things, God face ain't going to be turned from you, meaning he is not going to what? Forsake you and all those things. All right. That's why you're not going to go spiral down in sin. Verse 8. If thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. I'm not going to go to it. But in Deuteronomy, it talks about that even with the feast, it will say, those that basically been blessed with a lot, you give a lot. If you've been blessed with a little, give a little. Okay. He's not judging the per se amount. Okay. Not looking at, oh, you gave to, no. He's showing that you're supposed to understand, all right, if he gave me a lot, I give a lot to the Most High. If I got a little bit, I give a little bit to him. Okay. So it's the same thing. Don't be ashamed of if it's a little bit. Oh, I only gave 50 cents. I'm ashamed to get this 50 cents because I know this brother and sister over there giving hundreds and this. Say no, because it ain't about the money. And sometimes you're giving more than that person that's throwing all that money in. We got an example of that, right? The widow's mite. Christ, she threw in way more than any of y'all. People, because what? She only threw up one little mite. How she throw more than us? Because Christ was in that spiritual accounting. Say, no, no, no. Her heart was in that. So you have all the money and you throwing it to the Lord. You still in safety. Like, whether I live and I die, I'm gonna give what I have. Because I have faith in him. That's why the spirit hit Christ and she gave. Okay. Because some people play games, but some people like to just show off and give, show that they a big baller. All right. Even in the church, they'll try to show off, you get $100 line, $50, and make people feel bad for that. That's all show stuff. But people like that. Well, they really love God. You see how much they put in play? They really love him. No. That's why Christ said, don't let your arms be done before men, because he was trying to kill that kind of spirit. All right. All right, let's keep going. Verse 9, for thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity. All right, the same thing. When you're doing it, alms, all right, this is in the right spirit. All right, you laying up what? Treasure, good treasure. All right, that treasure can be what? Mercy. Okay, you need the mercy from the Most High. Okay, let's keep going. Verse 10, because that alms do deliver from death, and suffereth not to come into darkness, right? People will read this and say, see, it's alms and you can give money and it'll deliver you from sin. And what's the Catholic Church at? What's that middle place they say when you die, you're not in heaven or hell, they're right in this kind of start with it. Is it
purgatory?
Purgatory. Okay, I'm about to say something about perjury. All right, purgatory, right? So this is, like I said, there's scripture that people use, right? They get that understanding with all of it, but they'll use certain things. They'll grab something like that, right? See, your mother, she's right there, but you get, $1,000 a day, we can push her right up into heaven. They have those kind of things, all right? But you need to know these things because ignorance don't make merchandise. Tell you that's what scripture says. Because you don't know, you hearing and saying, man, they gave me a scripture, so that's why I did it. All right, they just took your money. All right, because that alms do deliver from death. Once again, we should know what alms is dealing with. It's dealing with the heart. Doing good, yes, it will deliver you from death. Okay, it can. I say it can deliver you from death. Okay, and to suffer not to come into darkness. Why? Because when you do good, beloved, that's what happens. It's getting you, when you're doing things good, beloved, it's two directions, okay? Either you're going the one way of evil and darkness, or you're going to good or righteousness in the light. It's only two directions. So if you're going to darkness, you're going further away from what? The light. If you're taking steps towards the light, you're going further away from darkness. So if I'm giving something to the Most High, which direction do you think I'm going? Okay, that's why I'm saying you're getting far from those things, delivering you from what? Going down that dark path. Okay, so when you're doing good, it should be getting you closer to what? The Most High. Okay, but I'll show another precept because people just, like I said, people take advantage of it. We're going to stay in Tobit. Matter of fact, just go a few chapters over. We're going to run into it. Or we're going to eventually, but let's go down to chapter 12. Tobit chapter 12. I'm going to verse 9. For alms doth deliver from death. All right, same thing. Listen to this part. And shall purge away all sins. All right. No, Micah says it'll deliver you and do all that. Okay. Listen to this part. Those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. All right. So you is making a point. Really, you should go to verse 8. It'll kind of even give you more. Prayer is good with fasting and alms and the righteousness. So if you just bring in money, first of all, if you just bring in money just to just, I want to show them a big baller, you're not truly bringing alms. You're just making a show. That's why I say you're not even in the race they're talking about. All right. But when you're giving, okay, it don't have to be even when you're just giving to your brother. They need somebody, I need money, but when you're giving to them, that's a alms. Okay. So when you're giving alms, you're fasting, your prayer, doing things that's right. Okay. This is the life. This is where it's leading you to. Okay. So just so we don't think people ain't just getting us caught up with the whole money aspect and, that's how you become righteous and all that. No. Okay. You have to do what's good, beloved. No matter what career you get, how much money you get, it's not going to take you out from doing what thus says the Lord. All right. I'm going to verse 10 again. Because that alms do deliver from death and suffer not to come into darkness. Verse 11. For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High. Read that again. For alms is a good gift unto all that give it. Listen, in the sight of the Most High. People don't grab the sight of the Most High part. It's doing it in the right spirit. If you're not doing it in the right spirit, he's not even looking at what you're doing. But for it to be done in the sight of the Most High, okay, it has to be done with the right intentions. Okay. Verse 12. Okay. I got precepts for like 10 I could have, but we don't need to, I don't feel like keep talking about money all the time. All right. Verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. Okay, so beware of whoredom. Okay, we can show that on there. I'll just show you a New Testament verse. Right, somebody's writing the Bible. You'll have certain ones have precepts. So, First Thessalonians 4:3. Let's go to that one. For this is the will of God, even your sanctification, right? That ye should abstain from fornication. Verse 4, that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor, right? Not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles which know not God. All right. So we should be taking care of our body and not just feeling, lust of thereof. All right. Being like people that do not know God. And that's kind of when we dealt with last Sabbath on 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Remember the whole thing Paul was bringing out. Don't you know that your body is the temple of God, right? And the spirit dwelling in it? You can't be just giving your body up to whoredom and whoring all over the place. No, that's you're messing up your body. Okay. So the same kind of advice, right? And this is before Paul and all that. Okay. Same thing. Beware of whoredom. Okay. Don't get distracted. Don't get all caught up in, the cares and affairs with these things. But also he's giving the son what? You want to take a wife of your seed. Okay. Particularly, yes, this will be dealing with Israel. Why? Because they the ones that have the laws. They have the statutes. Remember, everybody, only people that will kind of run into some of these things, they will usually have to run into Israel to get the, law and stuff, all spelt out. Right? They heard certain things, but they didn't know all the, ins and outs of our laws. Okay. So with that, you get somebody that's what? On that same thing. Okay. So yes, he's saying get somebody right there. Right? Why do you want to fight, when they trying to worship Baal and they're trying to worship, Ishtar and all those things, you picking a wife from them, and now you got to fight that. And then if you have children with them, now they got to jumble through that. Okay. So he's trying to give them what? Wisdom. Okay. Now, if somebody's already in this situation, this is where you have to pray and, you got things dealing with that. But you're supposed to what? If you're not in it, you're supposed to go into it in wisdom. Okay. So, beloved, is why I said you need to get somebody that's a believer. Not try to change them into, no, let me round that back. Before you commit and be one, they need to be a believer. All right. Because to be truly one, you need to be one in mind and body, right? So if somebody is not trying to do what thus saith the Lord, they do not believe in the Bible, Christ like that, there is no way you should be making a vow of committing and being one with them. No. Okay. So this was the same principle stays till today. All right. You need to be matched with somebody that's a believer, somebody that's entered into the covenant of God just like you. All right. If they not doing that, they not willing to do that, there's no reason why you should willingly try to go into a marriage or a vow with them. Okay. It's just wisdom. I mean, regardless with anything, even if somebody wasn't with the Bible, being on one accord and having understanding is going to make things better. Right. But for us as believers, the same thing. All right. And because also, he's talking about also the promise. All right. We know their seed and everything shall inherit the land. So once again, another thing to add on that. All right. Let's go to, we'll go to verse 13. All right. Verse 13. Now, therefore, my son, all right, love that. And I'm sorry for verse 12, I could have add another one, but I'm not. But this is where, because a lot of brothers will go. I think it's like Deuteronomy, where he talks about who you shouldn't be paired up with. Okay, he said like don't get them from this nation, this nation, this nation. There's something else I want to look at into that, but I'm reserving judgment. But regardless, he's saying those things because when you link up with them, 9 times out of 10, I'll put it on the men for the most part. Men, we will give up our strength to a woman. All right, that's usually through the scripture, same narrative. We start getting googly eyed for that woman. We start what? Lowering our senses, not doing what thus said the Lord, those kind of things. And that becomes the problem. Okay. So you get somebody that's a fellow believer. Okay. If they're not one when you first meet or whatever, you need to wait until they get fully persuaded. Then, okay, be with them. And there's examples of that. Okay. Verse 13. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine. Okay, so once again, he's still getting on that point in verse 12, right? Taking the seed of thy father, all right? So we look at this, now therefore, my son, love thy brethren. Listen what he's saying, that's part of this love. I told you, we throw love, even, New Testament, Christ, oh, it's about love, love, love now. This love was talked about prior to. This law is different forms of love. You have to just understand it. My son, love the brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the son and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. Saying these are your fellow brothers, to love them. You should be what? Trying to link up with them. And I know, sisters, y'all usually agree with that. Brothers go over you to go to somebody else. I don't want to deal with them. No, that's if. And a lot of times we got to think about it. That could help us out more. All the pod brothers, you get to where you want to get. You get high up, and you're like, I'm gonna skip my people. I want to get this one, right? But no, saying don't despise that. Okay, grab one of them. And I ain't just saying somebody that just because they Israel, just grab any Israel. No. There's still other things, but you got to examine still other things. All right. Just because there's an Israelite sister don't mean she's a great wife or a great wife for you. Okay. So when we're looking at this, this is still showing love towards what? People. Okay. The scriptures support it. Okay. So in doing this, take a wife for them. Okay. And this helps them. Definitely, if you're a good person, blessing, it brings that unit, it can build us back up. Okay. So he's giving, like I said, a father giving his son good counsel and advice. Okay. Verse 14. Let not the wages of any man which have wrought for thee tarry with thee, but give him it out of hand. For if thou serve God, he will also repay thee. Be circumspect, my son, in all things thou doest, and be wise in all thy conversation. Okay. So the brother did mention, I believe, this last week. All right. So this is the reference point of it. Okay. So we're gonna go to Leviticus 19 and 13 real quick. All right, so he's saying when you have something, make sure when somebody do something, I'm just going to read that verse one more time. 13, let not thy wages of any man which have wrought for thee, all right, tarry with thee. All right, they do something, don't let it stay with you, but what? Actually give it to them. All right, give them what they deserve or need. Leviticus 19 and 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor. All right, we cannot defraud our neighbor. Neither rob him. All right, robbing is not just, well, yeah, some people think like with a gun, stick them up, right? Take it from them. But do not take what they, first of all, that's theirs, that belongs to them. All right. Whether it's by deception, if something belongs to them, give it to them. All right. Do not try to take away from them, whatever capacity it is. And this is even when you understand that, that's dealing with the coveting and all that stuff. You're coveting on something they have. Okay. So you have to get that spirit out of you because that's not love. That's dealing with selfishness and greed. All right. But thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. Right. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. All right. So if I have somebody do a job for me, right, they do the job that day, I should try to give them the money or whatever that time. Okay. Definitely if somebody needs it. I know society nowadays it's almost like, a lot of jobs like do 2 weeks and all that stuff. So we understand those kind of things. All right. And there's certain things you got to wait or whatever. But primarily people work, they need expenses, right? They have bills and stuff. They might have stuff like that. And they did the work. All right. And if you got the money, don't just withhold it. I got the money, but I'll just hold off. I'll get to you, when I get to you. I maybe get to you next week. No, the brother, that's his money. He worked that day. He already owed that. So saying to give it to him. Okay. And it goes into more stuff because if they actually cry out to the Most High, you can start getting in trouble. Definitely they have need of it. Okay. But this is not talking about an arrangement that you made, right? Oh, brother, you do this on Monday, I'll pay you Friday. Then y'all made an agreement with that. Okay. So I don't feel like you had said if you did something and you already have to hold off, but let them know. So also they can make arrangements as well. All right. All right. Back here in verse 14. Be circumspect, my son. Listen, in all things thou doest, and be wise in all thy conversation. All right. In all your behavior, show wisdom. Okay. This is what we got to realize, beloved. The whole little thing they used to have, the WWJD, what would Jesus do, whatever. That mindset we need to have. All right. What will your house I do? In this situation, what would he do? In this situation, it looks bad, but he'll probably, pray out to his father. All right, you need to do that. Oh, my brother, oh, they just pissed me off. They yelled at me, or they cursing at me. What would he do? What would he be pleased with? Should I curse back at them? Or should I just turn the other cheek and, all right, just, maybe remove myself from the situation? How should I do? What would the father be proud of? Okay. So in every conversation, remember, word for behavior. And it's the same thing. You can connect it to Peter. I think it was Peter. He used conversation as well, talking about the behavior. I think talking about the women where they chase conversation. All right. So with our behavior, sometimes also our behavior is also I won't say enticing, all right, but our behavior also is how people can be converted. Okay, they seeing how we act, how we move. If we move like the world, they don't see no difference. They don't know. Somebody, curse you out or say something bad about you, and then you saying something bad about them. No, okay, this person's regular. He's just like everybody else. But now when somebody doing all this stuff wrong, and then they come to you and you don't, well, we just got to pray for that brother or sister. They look like, what the heck? That's different. What you mean pray for them? You're supposed to see, because you're different. Okay. And that's what we're supposed to be, beloved. We have to be a light. All right. In this world of darkness. This light and darkness, total opposites. If you too much in darkness, then somebody turn on that light, that thing blinds you. That's how our light's supposed to shine in this world. They can't see. It's just too bright. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Verse 15. Do that to no man which thou hatest. All right. Don't do it to no man, when you might hate, right? Or you have a problem with it, whatever. Do that to no man which thou hatest. Drink not wine to make thee drunken, neither let drunkenness go with thee in thy journey. Okay. I'm not gonna go to the precepts with that, but beloved, we shouldn't have mastery over strong drink. We should be sober-minded. Okay. You can drink, all right. I'm saying it's permissible, all right, but you just have to be mindful when you consume. If you can't control it every time you drink and you get drunk, then all right, maybe you need to just stop drinking altogether, because it's not a requirement for instance to drink. All right, but just saying you can drink, but listen, we should not be the drink basically should not overtake us. All right, because drinking certain things, sometimes it can actually be a medicine. Drink a little bit, right, for the belly's sake. And then also drinking is something that, if you use it in moderation, could be a thing that sometimes put us in a more cheerful spirit. Okay, people get married, things like that. It's a time where feasting sometimes it brings cheerfulness when you're drinking in carefully. But if you get too much, right, that's when it can kind of ruin the celebration. Okay, and remember, there's still a temple. You don't want to hurt it, throwing on, drinking and stuff like that, making bad decisions, because we always supposed to be what? Ready. If you all drunk, slurring, all that, the Most High definitely can't use you. Spirit ain't trying to use you. You all drunk and this and that, right? So this is where the concept of it, okay? Drink not wine to make thee drunken. Do not drink to get drunk. So you drink like, man, I'm trying to get drunk tonight. I'm trying to be trash. I'm trying to fall out. No, right? That we can't do that. Neither let drunkenness go with thee in thy journey, all right? Because we supposed to be what? Be sober-minded, all right? Always be able to give account. We should always be ready. But we don't know when the Most High can be using somebody. You out, maybe you drink, but the Most High can use you to witness or do something. But when you're drunk, that's gonna be using you when you're drunk. All right. So let's be sober-minded, okay, at all times. Ready to give an answer, ready those things. Okay. Verse 16. Give of thy bread to the hungry, and of thy garments to them that are naked. And according to thine abundance give alms. And let not thy eye be envious when thou givest alms. I want to see, the Father's kind of saying the same thing in different ways. It's about showing love and treating others. He's doing a lot of focus on be careful how you're treating others, okay? How you're dealing with them. Give to them, be merciful to them, show love to them, okay? Same thing we should be doing even to this day. Give bread to the hungry. Don't be closed fist. No, I ain't giving that. No, I ain't trying to share that. No, If you got it, you got abundance of it. Guess what? The Most High bless you with it. So once again, taking care of them. This is why Christ come on the scene when he's saying the same thing. Where was you naked and I didn't clothe you? When was you hungry and I didn't feed you? He's saying Christ talking this stuff like we ain't feeding God. When was God hungry? We didn't feed him. When was he thirsty? We didn't give him nothing to drink. When was he naked and we didn't clothe him? He's saying what you did to the least of them. You see the same teaching. Some of them knew this stuff because the law was already showing that. No, what you do to the least of them. You see your brother and sister struggling. You got $5. They need, $1 or $2 just so they can eat, so they can survive. You're like, nah. You know what? You probably cursed anyway. You probably did something wrong, right? You got all these other things that come to your mind justify why you can't give to them. All right, that's in need. Now, beloved, I say before, you need wisdom as well. All right. Sometimes you can give them money and they might go and buy it on drugs or something like that. So sometimes the spirit might say, you know what? It might say, don't give them nothing. Don't get it wrong. Could say that. Or it might say, listen, ask them what they want to eat. Because a true hungry man, he gonna want something to eat. But somebody like, nah, I don't want nothing. Nah, let me do it. Just give me the money. Sometimes they have addiction and stuff, right? So I don't want you to feed the addiction, okay? But however, they in need, they hungry, do that, okay? And that'll be a time there you can even minister to them, beloved. Sometimes it ain't about bringing the scripture. This is the time where the Most High could put them across your path to minister to them. What you going through? You all right, brother? You all right, sis? Well, I want you to know that, I love you. You know what I mean? They might say, no, you don't love me. Nobody love me. Nobody care about me. Nah, I love you. God care about you. Nah, God ain't worried about He ain't forsaking me. What you think I'm here for? Think we ran into each other for, you know what I mean? This is where you can what? And instead talk to them. I got some other brothers and sisters that they would love to see, and this is how you can bring people in. Okay. That's why I said, let the Most High use you. Okay. What verse was that? Okay. So they hungry, feed them. They naked, give them a garment, and according to thy substance, give alms. All right. So if you have a lot, you can give a lot more. If you have a little, give a little. All right. Because it's about showing your heart. All right. Let not thine eye be envious when thou givest alms. Do not be stingy with your eyes. Don't let it be having evil intent. Okay. The thing about alms, it's a giving, a cheerful giver. He loves a cheerful giver. All right. Not one, oh, I got to give this $1. No. Oh, I want to give money to this ministry. No, save your money. All right. Because the blessing is in the mindset. So if you feel, I don't want to give this, oh man, this money, I could do better things with it. I'm speaking as, keep it. All right. Because the blessing is in the spirit of what you're doing. Okay. All right. Verse 17, pour out thy bread on the burial of the just and give nothing to the wicked. All right. Be mindful who we're giving and what we're doing things. All right. To the wicked people are going to use things for wickedness. All right. You give say you give them to give $1,000 to some of these charities that's wicked. That $1,000 ain't going to no, they ain't going to no to help the people or help whatever they talking about. Sometimes they paying themselves. Sometimes you got these CEOs of these charities making millions and millions of dollars, and then they giving the people that you think you giving the money to, they gonna get probably $100 to every 10,000 they get. Okay, so this is why sometimes you say, sometimes I go through certain things. Oh, you want to give to? Nope. I still got. I'll give it to the church where I'm like, I know where it's going. Okay, I know where the intent's going. But some of these other ones, I'm a little weary because I know a lot of them are wicked, and they're just trying to play on some people's emotions. All right, but on the if you're doing with the burial dead, even with somebody that's dying, give. Okay, do good to them. Okay. All right, verse 18. All right, make sure I can knock it out. Ask counsel of all that are wise and despise not any counsel that is profitable. All right, listen. Ask counsel of all that are wise and despise not any counsel that is profitable. Okay, let me go to it real quick. So we should desire counsel, beloved. Don't kick back on counsel. And even the Most High use even like a heathen or a wicked person, somebody can give certain manly counsel, right? Don't let them be a teacher of yours. the scriptures. All right. So 11:14. Proverbs 11, verse 14. Where no counsel is, where there's no counsel, what happens? The people fall. Okay. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. All right. So a lot of times, sometimes we don't see it, but sometimes I know personally, I will ask certain things. Right. Sometimes when it's with decorations or sometimes I ask some of the sisters certain things. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Certain other things I might ask the brother, what do you think about this? All right. Because the counsel, there's safety. There's some things I might overlook and that they can catch. Okay. So don't be afraid of counsel. Just make sure you have proper counsel, because there's other people hearing it. It's not always counsel, right? It's supposed to be wisdom, wherever you're getting that counsel from. All right. 18, ask counsel of all that are wise and despise not any counsel that is profitable. Some things are profitable. Yes, somebody might not be in the truth, but they might give some counsel that's good. Just take the profitable counsel. All right. It can save you. Verse 19, bless the Lord thy God always, and desire of him that thy ways may be directed, and that all thy paths and counsels may prosper. For every nation have not counsel, but the Lord himself giveth all good. But the Lord himself giveth all good things, and he humbleth whom he will, as he will. Now therefore, my son, remember my commandments, neither let them be put out of thy mind. And the commandments he's given them, and that's why I was showing these precepts, these are things of the book, because this is the counsel and the commandment we're supposed to give to our children and to those that even just come to us for counsel. All right. Listen to what I'm telling you, because really, if you understand it, you're not listening to me. You're listening to what? The one above. All right. So listen to verse 19 again. Bless the Lord thy God always. Desire of him that thy ways may be directed, and that all thy paths and counsel may prosper. Okay, beloved, if you, this is what I'm talking about, being spirit-led, if you ask the Most High, direct me in all my ways, not just the ways I feel like, oh, I need help on this one. No, the things you even think you're sure of, ask the Most High, Lord, do you want me to do this? That's one of the things about the enemy. He will give us certain things so we stop depending on the Most High, right? I ran into, let's say I ran into, all this boatload of money. I wouldn't be thinking, we're going to get this building. We're going to get this. I wouldn't even be thinking about what, Lord, what should I do? Right? See, sometimes we think the blessing of what we say. No, but sometimes we lose our way. Sometimes we can't even get all this money because you'll lose. The Lord knows you're going to lose. You're going to mess up. Okay? But when we look at this, beloved, this is where we're supposed to be asking the Lord, direct my path. All right? Should I do this? I tell y'all, even come here. Should I be in this group? Right? Is this where you want me? All right? Because then when you have some of these answers and guess what? Then you don't have all that doubt in your mind. Right? Lord, should I go this way? Should I be directed like this? So this is what he's saying. Put the Most High first in everything. And what? You're going to prosper. He's going to lead and guide you. That's what the Spirit does. This is the Spirit. If you can't understand it, that's the Spirit. Letting your desire be what? You want to be directed by him. For every nation have not counsel. I'll say that again. Every nation have not counsel. That's why he wants you to marry somebody, because we have certain counsel. Who's the we? Real quick, we can go to Romans chapter 3. This is my last precept. All right. What am I doing? Romans chapter 3. He said, every nation don't have this counsel. What are you talking about? What nation do? This is Paul. Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. What advantage then have the Jew? Or in other words, Israel. What profit is there of circumcision? What is the advantage of being Israel, being Israelite? Or what profit is it in the circumcision? Listen what he say. Much every way. See, a lot of people stop right there, but that's a kind of rhetorical question. What advantage of the Jew? What's the profit of circumcision? What did Paul say? He can't say just a little bit. Oh, nothing. He said much every way. There's an advantage of being an Israelite. There's an advantage of the circumcision. Much every way. How? Chiefly or mainly because that unto them were committed or given the oracles of God, or the understanding of God. What is he talking about? What did they get that every nation didn't get? That's the laws and the commandments. That's the advantage of being Israel. However, we might have the advantage, but you have to do them, or it don't mean nothing. Okay? The power is not just knowing it, you have to do it. But you can't do what you don't know. That's why it's an advantage of them. They know what to do. We just weren't doing it. But at least we knew what to do. So that's what he's saying, the advantage. But it's not that you're just good because you are a Jew. Okay? I'm a Jew, I'm good. I'm Israel. I'm from the seed of Abraham and Isaac. Yeah, that's only gonna be powerful if you do what thus saith the Lord. But if you ignore him, you just like everybody else that ignores him. All right, maybe even worse. Okay, because you should know better. So this is what he's saying: for every nation have not counsel. Everybody don't have the counsel of the Most High. Okay, this is why you stay and you deal with fellow believers. All right, because this counsel is supposed to be divine. But the Lord himself giveth all good things, and he humbleth whom he will. Listen, he giveth all good things, and he humbleth whom he will. We can't force the Most High God to humble or do whatever. He can humble whoever he wants. I don't care what nation, what person. He can choose somebody and humble them as he will. But Mike, you can't just say that it's Israel. No. Nebuchadnezzar got humbled. It's not Israel. Okay? And there's more examples. I'm just letting you know. He literally telling him he does what he wants. He can humble whoever he wants. Whenever he wants. Now, therefore, my son, this is why I want you to remember my commandments. And do not let them go out of your mind. Keep them in your spirit. Okay. All right. Verse 20 and 21. And now I signify this today that I committed 10 talents to Gabriel, the son of Gabriel, at Regis in Media. Verse 21. And fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth. If thou fear God and depart from all sin and do that which is pleasing in his sight. I hope we caught that, beloved. Fear not, my son. My brothers and sisters, let us not fear when we are made poor, when we are made low. Because what? We have much wealth. We might be poor in the eyes of this world. We might always seem like we're in need and we never, have a more abundance. But guess what? We're wealthy, beloved. We're good. But we will only have this wealth if we fear God and depart from all sin and do that which is pleasing in his sight. Why he keeps talking about give alms, do this person good, make sure you worry about this, worry about you do this. He's telling all those things is what things that are pleasing in his sight, beloved. So we fear God, depart from sin and our wicked ways, and do what is right. We rich. We good. All right. So, beloved, that is Tobit chapter 4. All right. That is Tobit chapter 4. And with that,